Hello and welcome to another live episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg, and today some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about includes Rachel Levine, who's in the news again. I'm going to be talking about also a little bit about the upcoming first GOP presidential primary debate and the issue of whether or not Trump will be participating in that, and a few other items as well. So thank you for joining me. If you've been enjoying these episodes, I do them every Saturday live at 3:30 Eastern Time. And please don't forget to give the show a thumbs up if you've been enjoying these episodes. But let me go ahead and jump in there and get started on this episode. And there's your reminder. Don't forget, if you're enjoying these, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you're over there as well. So, first of all, Rachel Levine, who you're probably familiar with, Rachel Levine, it says, serves as the Assistant Secretary for Health for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So, this is a man who claims to be a woman. And here we have Levine basically making this absurd comment, the idea that a young person could go through the wrong puberty. And of course, this is just radical leftist gender ideology, but let me play you that clip here.
What would you say to folks who think that they're being reasonable by saying, why can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? What if you inside feel that you are female, but now you're going through a male puberty?
The argument is, well, they're too young to know.
I want to make it clear that for prepubertal children, there are no medical procedures done. The standard of care allows them to explore that with therapy.
When you speak out against these bills, what do you cite as the harm?
Well, gender-affirming care is medical care. Gender-affirming care is mental health care. Gender-affirming care is literally suicide prevention care.
Admiral Ray.
So, I mean, obviously this is ridiculous. This is the radical leftist gender ideology. What if you're a boy trapped in a girl's body or a girl trapped in a boy's body and all that stuff? But also, it's just, if you think about the levels of irony here, like, we have a man who claims to be a woman and a female talking about gender-affirming care, which is literally, that involves the opposite of affirming a person's immutable biological sex, their actual gender. Now, of course, the radical leftist gender ideology proponents try and make a distinction between gender and sex and be like, well, gender is how you perceive yourself and whatever. I mean, this is ridiculous. If you're born with, male or female sex organs, that is your gender, that is your sex. You can pretend otherwise. You can, say you identify as something else, but you're not that something else. You're wrong. So anyway, there's that. And, this is a government official out there promoting this nonsense. Yeah, and then also, I was just going to show you this. Vice President Kamala Harris, there's this tweet on her account here that says, women's issues are America's issues. It's like, suddenly, Democrats know what a woman is. There's that whole, what is a woman thing. Matt Walsh has a documentary by that name, and also there was the Ketanji Brown Jackson debacle where Senator Marsha Blackburn, was asking her about, defining woman, and she was like, oh, I'm not a biologist, and all that stuff. So, here it says, women's issues are America's issues, and you can see this graphic that says, democracies cannot be strong if the rights of women are under attack. Well, this is ironic on several levels. One, that a top Democrat, Vice President Kamala Harris, is acting like she knows what a woman is, when in fact she actually believes that men who say they're women are women. So that's ridiculous. It's also ridiculous on the level that, who's attacking women's rights? Well, Democrats claim that Republicans are attacking women's rights because they, because Republicans in general are against abortion. And Democrats believe that women should have the right to kill their unborn children. Now, actually, Democrats are attacking women's rights because they're constantly the ones promoting this transgender ideology, which is destroying women's sports to a certain extent. I mean, I don't think it's become so pervasive yet that you could say it's actually destroyed women's sports, but the more it's allowed to go on, the more biological men who are allowed to compete in women's sports, the bigger the problem's going to be. And even just a few transgender people competing in women's sports, it's a problem because the girls and the women that are forced to compete against them, that's a problem. And, when biological men compete in women's sports, they don't always necessarily win, but they shouldn't be there. I mean, it's not, they're not a woman. So, but anyway, also, The Concerned Women for America Legislative Action Committee has this a presidential promise to American women that has apparently been signed by Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy. And really, if you read it, it seems like something that pretty much any presidential candidate on the Republican side should be comfortable with. It basically just says, as President of the United States, I promise to uphold the truth that women are exclusively female. Well, that's obvious. I mean, anyone who's acquainted with reality should be able to sign that. Only women can be pregnant and bear children. Well, duh. I mean, if you don't sign that, you should never be in public office. Only women can be mothers. Under my administration, the status and dignity of women and girls will not be compromised in law or policy. That sex is binary is a scientific reality, and all federal agencies will be directed to uphold this fact in every policy and program at home and abroad. A person's claim of gender identity does not overrule their sex. My administration will focus on affirming sex-based distinctions that protect women in every area, such as shelters, prisons, housing, healthcare, defense, education, and sports. I will protect the dignity of women and motherhood in all circumstances. Now, this is an absurd pledge in the sense, not that what they're saying is absurd. It's absurd that this needs to be put out there. Like, just imagine a few decades ago, if an organization was like, we want candidates to sign this. Well, I think probably people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, would be willing to sign it, but people might laugh at it. Like, this is silly. Why would somebody need to agree? No one's saying anything otherwise, you know? But no, now it's like, you know, half the country or whatever it is, 40% of the country, however much are supporting the radical leftist gender ideology, would not be willing to sign this because they don't agree with it, which is crazy. but that's where we are. Also, Vivek Ramaswamy, who's one of the presidential candidates who I mentioned back here, who is, you know, him and Trump signed this, he has released a kind of like a list of Supreme Court candidates that he would consider nominating if he was president. And he also has lower court individuals he'd be considered for some, what does he say here, for federal courts of appeals. But I'm going to focus on the Supreme Court candidates because he put two current, you know, Republican senators on his list. Like, I'm not familiar really, you know, with these other people on here, so I'm not going to talk about them. But if you go down here, he's got Mike Lee of Utah and Ted Cruz of Texas on his list as people that he might consider nominating for the Supreme Court. Right here, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz. So that's interesting. You know, would they take the job? Maybe not, but, you know, it's interesting that he would put them on there. I think they would probably both be great as Supreme Court justices, and I think that would be a good choice. Either one of them, I think, would be a great choice to put on Supreme Court. And I think the country would probably benefit from having them there. And they're both, I'm not sure exactly their ages, but probably, you know, they'd probably be able to be there 20, 30 years at least. So that would be a good move, and it would be good if they would accept him and you know, do that. Of course, that's kind of an aside because Vivek Ramaswamy has absolutely no chance of winning the Republican primary. He's become, you know, somewhat popular, but I don't think he's ever going to beat Trump or DeSantis even for that matter. So definitely seems like Trump is on a glide path to snagging the nomination for the third time straight. And on that topic, that's actually a good way to segue into this. Trump has put out this video saying that he will be advocating for the death penalty for people that traffic children and women. So let me show you that.
I will use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries and without delay. And I will urge Congress to ensure that anyone caught trafficking children across our border receives the death penalty immediately. And that includes also for women, because women, as you know, are number one in trafficking. Children are actually number two. I want to thank...
So yeah, so Trump has put out that video. And also, the upcoming August 23rd presidential primary debate for the Republicans, that's going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's going to be Fox's Brett Baier and Martha McCallum will be co-hosting or co-moderating that. And Trump is not really, like, committing to going. In fact, it sounds very possible that he might not actually participate in the debate. And I mean, from a political perspective, it kind of makes sense. Like, he's basically running away with the Republican nomination. I mean, obviously there haven't been votes yet, but it looks like he's easily going to win. He's way ahead in the polls. You know, if you look at the Real Clear Politics stuff, he seems to be way ahead. DeSantis has been in second place, but it's a distant second place. And, you know, it's quite far behind Trump. So from Trump's perspective, it's like, you know, and I'm going to play this clip where he basically says this, you know, what does he have to gain, you know? But on the other hand, and I'm going to show you a clip where DeSantis basically says that he thinks he should participate, but of course, you know, he wants to have the chance to go head to head with him and stuff. I personally think that he should participate, but we will see what happens. It's interesting because, you know, usually you think of think of Trump as someone who sort of likes being in the spotlight, likes also, you know that maybe fighting it out or whatever. So I kind of don't think he'll skip it, but you know, he might. Let me show you this clip here.
And I would say, you know, there's a little bit of hostility over at the network. You know, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Why isn't Newsmax getting a debate? It's an interesting question. Newsmax should get a debate. But I do say, why would I want a debate as opposed to doing something else that night? Why would I want a debate when you have people at 0 and 1% asking me hostile questions? Because I'm going to go to 71% instead of 70. But, you know, I think it's a very hostile environment.
So, yeah, I mean, Trump's very much making it sound like he's possibly not gonna be doing it. But DeSantis here, of course, wants him to do it. Let me show you that.
Debate. Do you want Trump to participate, or is this a time, if he doesn't participate, for you to shine?
Oh, I think we'll do well either way. But, I mean, I think he owes it to people to participate. Nobody is entitled to be nominated. You've got to earn it. You got to earn everything in this world. So I think you show up. I think you participate. I think you make your case, and I think you answer questions. So we're going to be doing that regardless of who else shows up. But yeah, I think he ought to participate.
Debate.
All right. So, like I said, I think he should show up. But from a political, political science or political perspective, if you were advising him, I could totally see where you'd be like he said, why bother? You're so far ahead. What's the point? But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that Trump should participate in the debate? Are you planning on watching the debate, and will you watch it if Trump isn't there? You know, it's possible it'll have less viewership if Trump isn't there. I'll be watching it because I'll probably be writing about it for the Blaze that night. But and even if I wasn't, actually, if I wasn't working, I would probably watch it live and try and stream it on here. It's going to be on Rumble, I believe. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be live streamed on Rumble. If I wasn't working, which I will be because I work the night shift, I would probably try and see if I could live stream it on YouTube through Rumble, like put it on Rumble and then put the video feed on here and talk to you guys about it. But I'm pretty sure that I will be writing about it and working that night, so I won't be able to do that. But I'll probably talk about it on the show, you know, afterwards when it's over on my live show on Saturday. So I'll cover it then. So stay tuned. That's about a month from now, actually. Yeah, because today's the 22nd. And that's going to be on the 23rd of August. So stay tuned. You guys can either watch that, and if you don't get a chance to watch it, then you can check my recap out because I'll probably discuss it on this show after it happens on Saturday on my live show. So thank you for watching this episode, and also let me say thank you to Shirley Kirkpatrick because I saw you said thank you, Alex. So thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you for watching, Shirley, and also thank you to anyone else who watched. And I see, Shirley, you said you'll be watching either way. So yeah, I think some people will be watching either way on the debate, and maybe some people won't. But I'll definitely discuss it a little bit on the show, so you can check that out after it happens. But thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend. And you can tune in next week on Saturday at 3:30 for another live episode. And please don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also, let me just click over here. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you're on there. I'm trying to build that up. So if you're already on Twitter, please give me a follow over there. And if you're not, then I guess you won't. But if you join, don't forget I'm on there, and please give me a follow. So thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.